For those who dare to look deeper, the shadows hold even greater terrors. Creatures of visceral body horror, curses born from historical trauma, and omens that defy reality itself. This is Part 2. Creature 1. The Gashadokuro of Japan, a truly monstrous creature from Japanese folklore. The Gashadokuro is a giant skeleton, standing up to 15 times the size of a tall man, made from the accumulated bones of people who died of starvation or in battle and were not given a proper burial. These restless, vengeful spirits amalgamate over time into a single, massive entity. The Gashadokuro roams the countryside after midnight, invisible and silent, save for a loud ringing sound that echoes in the ears of its intended victim. It sneaks up on lone travelers and, with its giant skeletal hands, seizes them to bite off their heads and drink their blood. There is no way to fight or reason with the Gashadokuro. It is a mindless manifestation of collective rage and neglect. The only warning is the ringing in your ears, and the only escape is to be indoors by midnight. It serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of honoring the dead and the catastrophic consequences of societal failure and war. Creature 2. The Popobawa of Zanzibar, a relatively modern and terrifying legend from Zanzibar. The Popobawa is a shape-shifting malevolent entity whose name means batwing in Swahili. This creature is a unique and invasive spirit that primarily attacks people at night in their homes. It is described as a one-eyed hunchbacked creature with large, bat-like wings and a strong sulfurous stench. The Popobawa's attacks are particularly traumatic and sexualized in nature. It is known to physically and sexually assault its victims, regardless of gender, often pinning them down in a state of sleep paralysis. The legend erupts in cycles of mass hysteria, where entire communities will sleep outdoors, believing there is safety in numbers, as the Popobawa is said to target individuals. What makes the Popobawa distinct is its demand. It often tells its victims that they must tell others about the attack, or it will return. This forces the community to publicly share their traumatic experiences, fueling the cycle of fear. The Popobawa is interpreted by some as a manifestation of social and political anxieties, a supernatural scapegoat for real-world trauma and stress. Creature 3. The Manananggal Philippines, a visceral and terrifying variant of the aswang. The Manananggal is a female monster that specializes in preying on pregnant women and fetuses. By day, it appears as a beautiful, alluring woman. But at night, it seeks a secluded place where it can sever its own upper torso from its lower body. The upper torso then sprouts large, bat-like wings and flies off into the night, leaving the lower half standing inert. It uses a long, proboscis-like tongue to suck the hearts of unborn children or the blood of sleeping victims through the roofs of houses. It is repelled by garlic, salt, and vinegar. The most famous way to destroy one is to find its lower half and sprinkle salt or garlic on it, preventing the two halves from recombining at dawn, which will kill the creature when the sun rises. The Manananggal represents very specific fears surrounding pregnancy and childbirth, as well as a deep-seated fear of female monsters and the violation of the home. Creature 6. The El Silbón, the Whistler, stalking the vast Venezuelan and Colombian plains, is El Silbón, a towering, gaunt figure condemned for an unspeakable crime, murdering his own father. As his eternal punishment, he is forced to wander the earth carrying a sack containing his father's bleached bones. His presence is heralded by a haunting, tuneless whistle, a simple sequence of notes that chills the blood. This sound is a terrifying reversal of reality. If the whistle sounds faint and distant, it means El Silbón is lethally close, perhaps already standing behind you. But if the whistle is loud and clear, as if he is at your shoulder, then he is actually far away, and you are safe for the moment. To hear his whistle is considered a dire omen, foretelling a death in the family. He is the ultimate cultural warning against the sin of patricide, a permanent spectral lesson in the consequences of pride, disrespect, and betraying one's own blood. Creature 5. The Jiangshi China, the Jiangshi or hopping corpse, is a unique creature from Chinese folklore that blends horror with a touch of the absurd. It is a reanimated corpse, often dressed in burial robes from the Qing dynasty. Due to rigor mortis, it cannot walk. Instead, it moves with stiff, straight arms and hops with both feet together. Jiangshi are created when a soul fails to leave its body after death, often due to a violent death, improper burial, or the body being disturbed. They are not intelligent like zombies. They are driven by a primal need to steal the life force key from the living. A piece of yellow paper with a Taoist spell written on it is often shown pasted to its forehead, which can immobilize it. The Jiangshi legend is deeply tied to Chinese funeral practices and the fear of spiritual pollution. It represents the consequences of disrespecting the dead and the chaotic danger of a soul that is trapped between worlds. Creature Lil, the Dobhar, True, the master otter lurking in the deep lakes of Ireland is the Dobhar-Chú, a legendary creature whose name translates to waterhound. Often described as a massive dog-like beast with otter or crocodilian features, it is said to be half dog, half fish, and covered in thick, impenetrable fur. This monstrous otter is known for its incredible speed and ferocity, both in and out of the water. The most famous account comes from a gravestone in County Leitrim, dated 1722, which depicts the creature and marks the grave of a woman named Grain. The story tells that she was attacked and killed by the Dobhar-Chú while washing clothes by the lake. Her husband, hearing her screams, raced to the scene and killed the beast, only for its mate to emerge from the water and launch a vengeful attack. After a fierce struggle, he managed to slay the second creature as well. The Dobhar-Chú is Ireland's answer to other lake monsters, but it stands out for its fierce and aggressive nature. It represents the hidden dangers of the deep, dark Irish waters, serving as a timeless warning to respect the power and mystery of the ancient lakes. Creature 7. The Pishtaco, Peru, and the Andes, a creature born from a long history of colonialism and oppression. The Pishtaco is a feared figure in Andean folklore. It is depicted as a tall, often white or foreign-looking man, sometimes a priest or a scientist, who stalks the indigenous people of the highlands. The Pishtaco is not a mere killer. It is a harvester. It attacks lone travelers to murder them and carve up their bodies, seeking their fat. This fat, known as human grease or laoli, is said to be used for a variety of sinister purposes, to grease the machinery of the wealthy, to create cosmetics, or even for use in religious ceremonies by the powerful. The legend is deeply tied to the historical exploitation of indigenous peoples by European colonizers and continues to reflect anxieties about globalization and the extraction of natural resources. The Pishtaco is the embodiment of the fear that outsiders come not just to take land, but to literally consume the native people for their own gain. Creature 8. The Yara-ma-yha-who of Australia. The Aboriginal legend of the Yara-ma-yha-who presents a creature that is less immediately monstrous but deeply unsettling in its methods. This being is described as a short, red, frog-like man with a very large head and a mouth without teeth. It cannot run fast, so it relies on deception, waiting in fig trees for a lone traveler to rest in the shade. When the victim sleeps, the Yara-ma-yha-who drops down and uses the suckers on the ends of its fingers and toes to drain their blood. It then swallows the person whole. Afterward, it drinks water and takes a nap. When it regurgitates the person, they are still alive, but shorter and redder. This process repeats. Each time, the victim becomes more and more like the Yara-ma-yha-who itself, until they are no longer human and transform into one of the creatures. This legend serves as a warning against sleeping in unfamiliar places and speaks to a fear of being consumed and transformed by the ancient, mysterious Australian landscape. Creature 9. The Näkki, Finland. Lurking in the murky depths of Finnish lakes, ponds, and underdocks is the Näkki, a shape-shifting water spirit designed to lure the unwary to a watery grave. Like the Scandinavian Enkon, it is a master of deception, but its methods are uniquely terrifying. It most often appears as a beautiful sad-eyed lake horse grazing by the water. When a child or adult tries to mount it, its skin becomes sticky, gluing the victim to its back as it plunges into the depths. The Näkki's most feared form, however, is that of a handsome, naked young man, playing an enchanting tune on a violin, luring women and children to the water's edge. But its true form is that of a grotesque, slimy, and monstrous creature with seaweed-like hair. The Näkki is a classic boogeyman used to warn children away from dangerous, unstable shorelines. It represents the hidden dangers of Finland's countless lakes, a reminder that a beautiful, calm surface can conceal a deadly secret. Creature 10. The Hidebehind, United States. A creature born from the tall tales of American lumberjacks, the Hidebehind is a master of stealth and fear. It is never seen directly, which is its defining feature. It is described as a sleek, shadowy creature that is unnaturally thin, allowing it to contort its body to always remain hidden behind a tree, a barrel, or any other object, no matter how thin. It stalks its prey, often lone lumberjacks, hunters, or travelers through dense forests, using the cover of trees and shadows. The victim only ever catches a fleeting glimpse of movement from the corner of their eye. The Hidebehind is blamed for the unexplained disappearance of people in the woods. It doesn't leave a trace because it is said to consume the intestines of its victims. The creature is terrified of alcohol, which is why lumberjacks were famously heavy drinkers to keep the Hidebehind at bay. It is the personification of the feeling of being watched in the deep, dark woods, a creature that embodies the primal fear of the unknown and the unseen predator.